Hi, this is Guy Bowling from Jobo.com. How you doing today?
I'm well, thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Before I even get started, I just want to tell you, I have been like a long time just fan of your work in general. You're always like 100% committed to your performances and your characters, and not only just your work, but just you as a human being. I find your honesty so refreshing. And I just want to get that out there before we got started talking about anything else. So.
Thank you so much. You just made my day.
No problem. So you are no stranger to working with Richard at all.
No
Um,
stranger.
no stranger at all. So I was just wondering, what has it been like, kind of like developing your kind of creative relationship, like over the projects that you have worked on together, like from the beginning up until now, like how has it kind of evolved, basically?
Well, I love that question. Thank you. Because it started with Ricky didn't want to meet me, which he hates that part of the story now. And I love that part of the story. It makes me so happy. He's like, I don't want to meet her. She's a 90210 bombshell who can't do this role. And I'm like, screw you, Richard Bates. Um,
Let
and
me
so
put
that
your
is how
call.
our relationship began.
Yeah.
Screw you, Richard Bates. And it has just colored itself out from there. No, it was so interesting because he was 26
Hmm.
and I was 23 and it was his directorial debut. And I was 3 seasons into 90210 and technically, someone who could greenlight films. Right.
Right.
And he's like, nah, like who is this arrogant little asshole who's like not even like not considering me for the role, won't meet me and just
Yeah.
just play the game of Hollywood, which is such a thing, and I have so much respect for him, and also screw him. But so he had to meet with me. His producer called in a favor. We sit down. He's like, "You're not going to shave your head for this role. You're on 90210." And I was like, "Yes, I will." And he's like, "No, you won't." And I was like, "Yes, I will." And then we were at lunch, and it happened to be a steak restaurant, and they provided us with steak knives, which I thought was lovely and perfect for my point. So I start sawing my hair off with a steak knife, and he's like, "Oh my God, stop! You're crazy! Like, what? Okay." And then I literally, but by the time I was getting my car in the parking garage, it was like, "So Richard would like to offer you the film. You're insane." So that's how our relationship began,
Yeah.
and I have to hand it to him. He does a few things with projects. He gets really personal with you, or at least that was how our journey began with Excision. He dug into my insecurities. He like sat me across from him at NYU in New York and like literally was just like, "Okay, what is your worst insecurity about your body?" And then he wrote a scene where I'm like gonna do surgery on my belly button because I felt insecure about my Audi belly button. And I was like, "Oh my God, you really went there, didn't you, dude?" Like it was like different things. And then it was like, that was just the tip of the iceberg. And then it was like, oh, let me just go through all of your pain from childhood.
Yeah.
and and he got performances out of me that I am so
So
grateful,
good. It's so
so
good.
grateful
Yeah.
for
I
him.
love I love you.
Oh,
Like it's so good. Every time,
but
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's so cool to see. And like, what I gathered from talking to him the other day about this is you can tell that he makes connections with the people that he works with, because he was telling me that especially even on this, whether they were a performer on screen in King Knight or if they were just providing vocal work, the people that wanted to be there. And I think
Yeah.
that's a testament of like who he is, just as like a filmmaker who has like such a unique voice that I
Oh yeah. It's
yeah
like I literally say I'm required by law to do his films now.
yeah
After so this, I'm literally a voice in a walkie-talkie while Matthew Gray Gubler is the high priest doing
yeah
presiding over all of these little crazy hallucination scripts that they go on. But he has a family in all of us, and we consider him family. And showing up for his films is like a family reunion. And we just, all do whatever our part is for the thing. When he did Trash Fire, I played a character who was like trapped in the attic for years and is like confined to this kind of baby self, and is literally had 80% burns all over my body. So I had all this makeup for the burns and stuff. And so, yeah, it's through the years, it's, very, but what he does is he allows us carte blanche. He literally lets us run with the characters, and it gives us such free reign as actors. And it's such a powerful decision as a director to choose actors that you trust and trust them. And he does that. So it's an amazing experience, whether it's a one-off or,
it's
for
a lead,
or the whole thing.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool. Like when I'm like watching his stuff and then watching this, like it seems like everyone involved in it, like they get his writing, they get what he's trying to say, they get like they're totally in on like what he's trying to do. And like when I was watching King Knight, the whole time I was watching, because it's so like darkly funny in all the right ways, but then there's this sincerity in some of the stuff that the people are doing and saying, like, and he was just telling me, like, I told him the entire time, like, don't play a lot of it as a joke, like this is serious to you. And I thought that was so cool, because like I think that kind of tone is so hard to get right, and he managed to do that. And it's interesting what you said earlier, because like we were talking about when you first started working with him, you kind of got the now 210 CW pushback. Have you dealt with that a lot? I mean, maybe not so much anymore, but back then, was it kind of like she's in CW and like she's on now 210, which is unfortunate.
Always. I mean, I think anytime an actor kind of breaks out in a role, it's then they're spending the rest of their career trying to counteract their breakout moment.
Right.
But yeah, I've consistently had to prove myself. I'm perceived as something aesthetically, first of all. So it's like, oh, well, you look like this. So that just a write off in that regard. And EXCISION really allowed me to show that there was an actress underneath all of the perceptions of what I am, based on how I look or whatever someone thinks about my initial judgment of seeing me. But yeah, it's been an ongoing thing, and I'm sure it won't fully ever go away, but I've embraced it. I walk into the roles. I've recently played an influencer, and I just like fully went complete opposite direction. It's just like vapid and ridiculous. And I'm now just like, give me the range. Like if you have a question, I've got a reel to end all reels. And I'm so grateful for it because of Ricky and so many of the roles I play with him. It's like, oh, you think I can't change my look? Just have a little look at Richard Bates films and what I've done with it. So
yeah, exactly. It's like, because it's all about like having someone like be willing to take a chance on you and like being like, hey, like I see more to you than just, what you're popular for. And you can tell that he's really done that with you. And I didn't even know that story about this kind of like reluctance in the beginning, like, oh, I didn't want to be with her. And now it's just like you're almost like his muse now, like you're just in everything. So like it's even if it's just a voice, it's just pretty cool.
It's really cool. I love our friendship and our relationship professionally. I'm so grateful for him.
So like having just do like a recorded voice, like just for a movie like this, like, are you just at home, just something you just have to send in? Like it's not really, I mean, how long did you do it for?
Well, what's crazy is we actually filmed the scene, and because this was the like pull everybody together and make it happen kind of student film vibes. It was actually, he fully did the decor of a ranger, park ranger place in a room in his house, and had the camera crew and the whole thing. And we filmed the whole scene. And then as the film was progressing, and, because you have 3 films, you have the film that you write, the film that you direct, and then the film that you edit. So there's, it's always evolving. And in the edit, it was like, this is actually way funnier, that this is like, it's becoming, crazy hallucinations of a voice in a walkie-talkie. So it actually evolved to that. And he's like, hey, so you're no longer in my film, but your voice is. I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, I just love you. Whatever, dude. Yeah.
You're like, I'm just here for you.
I'm just here for all of this craziness that you create.
Yeah, it's so cool. When our interview wrapped up, I was just telling him, like, I've seen some of his films, but like I was like, the humor in this just spoke to me. I think I was like 5 or 10 minutes in, and I was like, all right, I get this. This is in my wheelhouse. And he was happy to hear that. And like he was like, he stressed too, like, when this movie comes out, that people should buy it and support these kind of films, because we need filmmakers like him to be able to make more of their stuff. Like we need more creative minds like him out there. And I think it's so cool to have people like you kind of like behind him being like, hey, like if I'm able to do something for you, like I will do it. And I think that friendship and that kind of working relationship is so cool to see, like in an industry where you don't really see that all the time sometimes when people have made it.
And as an actress, like I want to show up for films like this to get made because we want more content like this in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, especially like when he and I grew up watching the movies they were stories, and they didn't have to be like crazy comic book stuff. They could be simple stories that grabbed us. And he knows how to do that, but like with his wild edge and crazy visualizations, and we need more of it. So I'm happy that he exists, and I'm happy that he, realized that he was stupid and that he should obviously work with me.
Well, they're wrapping me up here. I'm so glad I even had the opportunity to speak to you for even a moment. Like I said, I've been a fan of yours for so long, and I just watching your body of work evolve and change, and like just knowing, like even like when watching you, I'm like, I know that she's capable of so much, and just give her a shot. And I'm glad so many people have, and someone like Richard has too. So like, thank you so much for giving me your time, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one.
For sure. Take care of yourself.
Okay.
We're so lucky to have found each other.
Luck had nothing to do with it.
To the great horned god.
And our dear mother goddess.
My name's Thorn, and I'm a witch.
Can I get an antiseptic wipe? You know how important it is to me to practice safe blood magic.
This is my life partner, Willow.
You've got 5 seconds to get off my lawn before I cut you up into communion wafers. Not too shabby for a couple outcasts.
And this is my coven.
We're not having a big fire this year.
Why? It just doesn't feel like Beltane without a big bonfire.
Light a candle. What on earth are they doing? They're making a statement.
This was the calm before the storm. Before my past finally caught up with me.
Who are you? Prom king, class president. Did you play sports?
Lacrosse.
This coven is built on a foundation of lies.
Banish him. Banish him. Banish him.
I'm going on a walkabout.
You're too old for a walkabout. You have weak ankles.
You forced me to face my past, and now I've got to deal with it.
Hello, son.
You told me your mother is dead.
Who's the broad?
Reynolds gotten into me lately.
I'm here to help.
Merlin.
You're killing the mood.
I'm a work in progress!
Thornton Adams? What happened to you?
I went searching for happiness. And I found it.